Meet the true ultimate lords of Earth. There are 10 non-alien viruses on this planet, and quite frankly, they make us look like mere temporary tenants in their vast microscopic empire. They sit on the very edge of life. Some call them dead chemistry, but when they hijack a living host, they come alive with a rather terrifying and quite relentless brilliance. To put their massive numbers in perspective, if you stacked every virus on Earth, they would stretch for 100 million light-years. That is literally 500 Milky Way galaxies wide. These tiny, elegant monsters are not a new problem. They have shadowed our ancestors since before we were even human, shaping our evolution in ways we are only just beginning to comprehend. But which of these silent stalkers reigns supreme in sheer lethality? Enter Rabies, the ancient Greek spirit of mad rage, which has haunted our collective nightmares for at least 4,000 years. Once symptoms start, rabies is practically 100% fatal. There is no walk-off moment here. Your brain becomes a playground for a virus that possesses only 5 tiny, simple genes. After a bite, the virus begins a slow, deliberate road trip. It hitches a ride on your motor proteins, strolling along your long nerves toward your brain like an unwelcome, invisible hitchhiker. The genius of rabies lies in its stealth. It blocks your cells from producing interferons, essentially turning off your body's alarm systems and slipping past your immune defenses completely unnoticed. When your powerful killer T cells finally arrive to fight, rabies plays a devious trick. It orders your own infected neurons to signal those defensive cells to commit suicide. Talk about rude. Oddly enough, rabies does not actually destroy your brain cells. Instead, it merely scrambles their communication so thoroughly that your organs simply forget how to keep you alive. Truly diabolical. Then comes the famous horror movie symptom, hydrophobia. The virus causes agonizing throat spasms at the mere sight of water, ensuring its saliva-packed fortress remains concentrated and ready to bite next. Thankfully, this monster has a weakness: time. Because it travels so slowly, you can actually get vaccinated after being bitten, priming your immune system to destroy the virus before symptoms start. If rabies is a patient stalker, our next contender is a chaotic demolition derby. Meet the Marburg virus, a terrifying filovirus that turns your internal organs into a complete biological nightmare. With a fatality rate up to 88%, Marburg does not mess around. It causes severe hemorrhagic fever, leading to massive internal bleeding from practically every orifice of the human body. Discovered in 1967, the virus entered Germany via imported Ugandan green monkeys. Lab workers quickly fell ill, realizing too late they were dealing with something completely untreatable and horrific. Where does this horror hide when not terrorizing humans? The answer lies in deep, dark caves, roosting on the wings of Egyptian fruit bats, the natural reservoir hosts of Marburg. But why do bats carry such deadly pathogens without ever getting sick? It turns out their cells are constantly primed for viral attacks, possessing an incredibly hyperactive and quite unique immune response. Because the bat's defenses are so fierce, viruses are forced to adapt. They evolve rapid replication rates just to survive, turning bats into ultimate high-speed supervirus breeding grounds of the planet. When these hardened, hyper-evolved viruses make the jump to humans, our standard immune system is completely overwhelmed. The viral loads skyrocket, and the resulting fatality rates are absolutely and utterly devastating. If Marburg has a famous partner in crime, it is Ebola. First identified in 1976 near the Ebola River, this filovirus causes identical, terrifying symptoms that completely unravel your body. But long before filoviruses entered the chat, humanity's ultimate final boss was smallpox. For thousands of years, this airborne horror terrorized the globe, leaving empire after empire shattered and completely broken. Smallpox did not care about your social status. It killed emperors, wiped out over 90% of indigenous populations in the Americas, and literally dictated the geopolitical map of our modern world. Yet smallpox also gave us our greatest medical victory. In 1980, after a relentless, massive global vaccination campaign, the World Health Organization officially declared this ancient nightmare completely eradicated. The first human virus ever identified was not smallpox, though. It was yellow fever, discovered in 1900 by Walter Reed, who proved mosquitoes were the sneaky vectors of this deadly plague. Yellow fever earned its gruesome name from jaundice. As the virus destroys your liver, your skin turns yellow, and you begin vomiting black blood, charmingly referred to as black vomit. But if you want to talk about raw, rapid devastation, we must visit September 1918. A mutant strain of influenza emerged that would infect a third of the entire global population. Known misleadingly as the Spanish flu, this monster did not target the weak. It killed healthy young adults in their prime, sometimes within a mere 12 hours of their very first sniffle. The virus was so incredibly aggressive that victims literally drowned in their own bodily fluids. Their lungs filled with fluid as their immune systems launched a self-destructive, massive cytokine storm. The chaos of World War I was the perfect gasoline for this viral fire. Overcrowded trenches, troop ships, and massive rail lines delivered the silent killer to every single corner of Earth. In less than 2 years, the H1N1 flu strain killed between 50 and 100 million people. That is far more casualties than the entire devastating battlefield of the Great War managed. Some scientists suspect the war itself gave the virus a genetic nudge. Exposure to mustard gas may have damaged cells, increasing the rate of mutation and birthing this hyper-deadly pandemic strain. Yet, despite killing millions, we chose to forget it. It became the forgotten plague, buried in history books because the collective trauma was simply too much for humanity to actively remember. So, where on earth did these brilliant faceless executioners actually come from? Since they do not leave conventional fossils in rocks, scientists must play the role of genetic detective to find answers. Welcome to Paleovirology. Experts study the genomes of living hosts, hunting for ancient fossilized viral genes that got permanently integrated into the DNA of our ancestors millions of years ago. For instance, we can trace some viruses back to our earliest ancestors. Oral herpes diverged 6 million years ago, mirroring the exact split when humans and chimpanzees parted from our common ancestor. But genital herpes has a dirtier backstory. It jumped to our ancestors from ancient chimps around 2 million years ago, likely when an extinct hominin cousin butchered and ate raw primate meat. The new virus migrated down because our mouths were already occupied by oral herpes. This is evolutionary niche partitioning, where viruses change venues simply to avoid competing with their own cousin strains. When it comes to their ultimate origin, 3 classic theories fight for dominance. First is the virus first hypothesis, which claims they evolved from primordial molecules even before the very first cells existed. Second is the regressive model. This suggests viruses were once complex, free-living cells that slowly lost their machinery as they became lazy parasites, relying entirely on host cells to do everything. This theory got a massive boost from giant viruses, like the Mimivirus. These behemoths are larger than some bacteria, carrying mystery genes that are normally the exclusive hallmark of living metabolic cells. Third is the escape hypothesis. It claims viruses are genetic rebels, bits of cellular DNA or RNA that literally escaped their host genomes and developed a protein coat to wander the world. Modern scientists also propose the coevolution or bubble theory. Early self-replicating genetic material got trapped inside lipid bubbles. Those near food became cells, while the left-out outsiders became parasitic viruses. Regardless of how they started, their footprints are permanently inside you. A staggering 8% of the human genome is made of sequences that originally came from ancient sneaky retrovirus infections. Some of this hijacked DNA is actually useful. An ancient viral gene is responsible for building the placenta in pregnant mammals, meaning we literally owe our very live births to a virus. How do we survive in a world filled with these brilliant invaders? Thank your adaptive immune system, which possesses the largest, most sophisticated library of superweapons in the known biological universe. Your cells mix and match their own genetic code to create billions of unique receptors. This ensures you have at least one powerful defensive weapon prepared for every single possible virus. To ensure these weapons do not attack you, they attend a brutal school, the murder university of your Thymus. Here, 98% of candidate cells are ordered to commit suicide. But while we have tamed many viral threats, our overuse of antibiotics has created a terrifying new monster, superbugs. These antibiotic-resistant bacteria are projected to kill millions of people by mid-century. Amazingly, our saviors might be other viruses. Meet the bacteriophages, landing pod-shaped lunar lander lookalikes that are the deadliest beings on Earth, specialized exclusively in committing total and absolute bacterial genocide. They inject their DNA, hijacking the bacterium to build a virus-making factory until it literally explodes. Best of all, they are completely harmless to us, offering a brilliant cure for superbugs. Humanity and viruses are locked in an eternal genetic dance. They are our deadliest foes, our evolutionary drivers, and quite literally a permanent part of the very DNA that makes us human. The next time you get a sniffle, remember, you are not just a person. You are a planet. Respect your immune system, get your shots, and subscribe for more mind-blowing science.
Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, click like and follow.